Hi everyone! Oh my gosh, how's it going? I am so excited today. Welcome to this awesome Rethink Pink STEM School Holiday Workshop where we're going to be focusing on tech today. We are going to have so much fun. My name's Laura and I am joined with my fantastic friend Sarah. Hi Sarah!
Hi, Laura. It's so good to be here with so many friends joining us online. It's going to be so fun.
We are going to have such a good time. Now, just before we do get into the nitty and gritty of it all, we're just going to go over something really important, which is an address to country. So just right off the bat, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we're having this recording done today, which is the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and, acknowledge their elders past, present, and emerging. Now, hey Sarah, do you know anything about STEM by any chance?
Do I ever? So we've been running some STEM workshops. We're in the thick of it. I'm a technologist, so I'm very much in my technology career. But we do a lot of science, technology, engineering, and maths here at Girl Geek Academy. So I think we're going to be jumping into the technology workshop today.
We are. And just a bit of background on myself. I am also a technologist. In fact, I work at Girl Geek with Sarah, but I'm also a video game developer. So it means I'm obsessed with all things games. If you love games, please tell me about it in the chat because I want to talk about it. And I absolutely love games. So that's kind of where my love for tech has come from. Just a little bit about us both.
Awesome. And look, there's a bit of a reason why we're here today. And Sunsilk did a study of over 1,000 people across Australia and New Zealand, at 1,000 women and girls, and uncovered some insights about where we are in 2021 and what are our thoughts and our dreams and our adventures with STEM careers. And we want to know, why do we need to rethink Pink and help girls learn more about STEM careers? So Sunsilk's Rethink Pink study uncovered that young girls feel a career in STEM is not achievable for them. And also that mums, maybe don't feel that they've got enough support and enough knowledge to be able to support their daughter's career ambitions in STEM. So we thought, what a way to bring all of that together and do some workshops over the school holidays. And some of that research also had some other insights. We've got some snippets of us doing Girl Geek Academy workshops. Some of the things that we uncovered included the fact that 81% of women believe that STEM-related fields of work are absolutely so important to the future. And we know that as technology is building the future. And I think there was some more stats in there. We've got two more stats that we really thought were interesting. It's that 47% of women have a strong belief that the gender imbalance is limiting our progress and innovation. So there is a gender imbalance in STEM and particularly technology where we don't have gender equality. And so we don't have, equal numbers of women and men in that industry. And what that means is that we don't have equal numbers of women building the internet and building our future and building creative solutions to the world's problems. And so we think that could do with a bit of a change. As women in technology, we strongly believe that, technology is a place where we all have a right to go and build amazing stuff, which we're going to do a little bit of today. And the last stat there is that 12% of Australian women would like to pursue a career in STEM, but they just don't know where to start, Laura. So we're going to touch on a couple of those things today, a little bit about STEM careers first, and then we're going to jump in. We're actually going to get our hands on and we're going to build some tech together with the women that we're with the girls that we're with, and with everybody along in the chat. So sound like fun, Laura?
Oh my gosh, honestly, I'm so excited. This is going to be so much fun. Chat, I'm sure you're going to have a great time too. I'm very keen for this, honestly. Now, speaking of how we're all going to have a good time together and figure this out, we're just going to go over some really important things to keep in mind while we're doing this workshop. One of the main things is, we're all going to learn at different paces and we're all different ages. And that's actually great. That's a really good opportunity because that means we can all practice being really awesome role models to each other and practice kindness to each other, right? If you don't know what you're doing or if you're feeling stuck or really confused, ask a question in the chat. We're all here to help each other out. So if you see a question you know the answer to, why not answer it? And if you have a question, ask away. We're going to be good role models to each other and we're going to help each other and we're going to bring each other up and support each other. Now, also, let's keep in mind that this is absolutely a marathon. It's not a sprint. So a lot of the time, especially with tech, if you're doing something and you don't get it right away, it can feel a bit like you'll never figure it out. Like you just feel really confused and overwhelmed. That's completely normal when you're learning tech. It's completely how I felt when I first was starting to make games. And I often still feel like that now. But the key is to just keep in mind, it's not that you'll never figure it out, you just haven't figured it out yet. You're absolutely going to figure it out. You just need a little bit of persistence and you need your friends to help you out. So if you're feeling stuck, don't be disheartened. It's completely fine. Ask a question in the chat and we'll all help each other out. And it's going to be a really good way to make lots of awesome friends, I think. So kind of going on from that, what is tech?
What
Tell
is
us
tech?
in the chat. What do you think tech is?
All right, get onto the keyboard and tell us, what do you think, what comes to your mind when you think of the word technology? What does tech mean to you?
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Laura, but to me, tech means creative problem solving. So, I think about how technology is our future and how we use technology to solve problems. And so to me, it's about, solving problems and being able to figure out what should we do next, and we create new things with that. What about yourself? What does tech mean to you?
Very similar. For me, also tech means friendship and also initially really intimidating. So I started programming when I was 18. I started programming when I did my video game. I have a bachelor's degree in video game design. So that's when I first started programming. And I found it really scary and overwhelming. And I thought that I would never figure it out because I didn't really think I was a super maths whiz. And I'm an artist and a designer and tech's not for me. Well, programming I thought at least isn't for me. So I found tech really intimidating. But I was really lucky enough to meet a whole bunch of other tech friends in my, the stuff I've done in games. And now for me, tech is a way to hang out with my friends and a way we can make awesome stuff together. It's become like a super awesome, positive part of my life. And I feel like so included, and I've got this really awesome friendship group because of it. So that's what tech is for me now. It started off really scary, but now I love it.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I learned to code when I was 5 years old. And so I've been using technology since I was young.
Yeah.
And when we started using technology, we were in a classroom together and, the teacher didn't know what to do and didn't know how to use the computers and said, well, guess you better help each other figure it out. And so for me, tech has always been about friendship because I'd say to the person next to me, hey, how did you do that? And they'd say, oh, I like what you did. Can you show me how to do that? So to me, like this workshop today, how we all help each other out, that's exactly what tech means to me too. So, super excited. I'm excited to read all of the responses coming through about what tech means to everybody as well.
I'm so excited to hear it too. And, just kind of going on from that, I'm sure for me and Sarah both, we both work in tech. So for us, tech also means a job. And, the cool thing about tech is I think a lot of the time it can feel like jobs in tech are just super intense programming jobs. You've got to be a maths genius, but that's absolutely not the case. There's so many different kinds of jobs in tech. I'm a game developer. You can do stuff like software engineer, cybersecurity, and that expert, which honestly I think it's like one of the coolest jobs ever. There's like digital artists. There's so many different jobs in tech, and one of the really fun things is like there's really a spot for everyone if you're interested in tech and you think it's fun. Kind of going on from that, like there's a spot for everyone. At Geek, we have a bit of an ethos of, hacker, hustler, hipster. Sarah, do you maybe want to tell us a little bit about hacker, hustler, hipster?
Do I ever? So you'll see here that there's a little bit of a Venn diagram, which means that we've got some circles that overlap. So if technology was a sporting team, right, then what role would people play in the sport? And we've got 3 different roles. And the first one is the hacker. And the hacker really likes to build stuff. They build the technology. They love building the coding or the robots, or, they like to make things, possibly with 3D printers. And then another member of the team is someone who thinks, how will someone use this? Like, you've built this thing, but like if I come along, does it work? Like, is it going to actually... is it going to feel good to use it? Is it going to feel like a bit weird? And that person is the hipster, and they love designing that experience and what that feels like. And then you've got someone who's a bit like me who says, okay, great. So I really love that we've built this thing and that it works really, really well and it feels really lovely to use. The hustler makes sure that people go out and that they use it. And so that's really the three different roles that you need. We're going to build something great. It's going to feel amazing to use. And then we're going to make sure people get out there and use it. And Laura, I think you'll find no one of those roles is more important than the other one. They're all equally important as each other. And so that's why, it makes such a good little team to be able to come together with those three roles. Now, if you don't have three people in your team and it's just you, then the reason we draw it as a Venn diagram is so that you have a little bit of those three skills. So you don't just say, well, I only do one of the three. It's about learning a little bit of the other two so that you can collaborate with other people. And, if there's only two of you in the team, then between the two of you, you'll be able to play all three roles. And so today, I think we're going to cover a little bit of all three roles in technology today.
Yeah, we are, yeah. And, kind of going on from that, this idea of, tech makes us think creatively, collaboratively, and critically is super important to kind of consider in, like, the context of, like, this Rethink Pink workshop as well, right? Like, if you love being creative, you could be maybe an animator or a game designer. If you love organizing other people, you could be a great CEO. And if you love understanding how things work, you might be an awesome programmer. There's kind of spots in tech for everyone, right? Imagine how let's imagine for a second, like, how brands like Sunsilk, how would they develop, new pack artwork or advertise their products without the help of tech? Like, it just wouldn't happen. Like, we've got some pretty awesome examples on the right-hand side here of some of the stuff Sunsilk goes through to make, their products be seen by the world. And it just wouldn't happen with tech and without the hacker hustlers and hipsters that work at companies like Sunsilk, right? Like, we're so important, right?
In the examples there, it looks like, we've got a website, we've got, they've had to make the actual product. So someone's had to think about how they're going to build a product and then what's it going to look and feel like. And then the hustler might think, well, we've got to make sure it looks good in the shop. So you can see there's like a standee there to make sure that all the products are displayed. So collaboratively, people have been able to come together and create products and create things in the world.
So true. And, the whole kind of idea around Rethink Pink is, challenging the stereotypes around STEM and showing, that girls have opportunities in a whole bunch of different career paths in tech. And there's lots of awesome experiences you can have with it.
And a lot of stuff we just haven't thought of yet.
Oh, it's so true. Especially, we need to hear your voice. What are your ideas? That's like what we want to hear about. Now, let's also have a bit of a chat about programming. Let us know in the chat if you've ever done programming, heard of programming, or what comes to mind when you think about programming. A few things that might come to mind. Sarah, what comes to mind for you when you think about programming? Or what do you think programming might be?
Well, programming. I think about, putting things in order, maybe. Like I think about like when you go somewhere and they give you a program, like an event program, and it's all in an order. That's what I think of when I think of programming a little bit. And it tells you like what's going to happen and who's doing what, when, and all of that. So that's what I think of when I think of programming. So I don't know if that's what we're doing today, but that's what first comes to mind to me.
That's like a really good, like an interesting response, because that's probably not what I would have said. I would have said programming, ones and zeros and a computer where the screen's like black and they've got like neon green writing and you like fall into the computer. That's what I think when I think programming.
Right. So you think like lines of code.
I go like Matrix, kind of like, I don't know why. I know that's not the case, but something happens in my brain. I go there. I guess we could say that programming is basically the way that we tell machines what to do. So basically, programming is instructions that people write or feed into a machine, and they make the machine be able to read the instruction in, understand what needs to be done, and then perform the action.
So it's pretty similar. It's pretty similar to my event program, but for computers.
It is. It extremely is. And like, if you think about it, we do a lot of programming in everyday life, not necessarily even of machines. So for example, you might program a dog how to sit, for example, right? I like to think that a lot of the time, when we run like a class or like a workshop, we're kind of programming everyone because we're giving them instructions, they understand what's happening, and then perform the action. Everyone's being programmed.
So wait, you reckon we can program a dog how to sit?
I reckon that's a bit programming, don't you think?
So do you mean like when you train your dog and you go, okay, sit, and then you like give it instructions and then you give it a reward at the end.
Yeah, it kind of
I don't know.
understands. You're teaching it. You're kind of giving it instructions. It might be a bit like stretching it, but kind of like it.
Yeah.
I think there's
Awesome.
lots of programming in life. Yeah. So yeah, computer programming or coding is basically how we tell a computer what to do. It's giving a computer instructions. And there's some people might have heard of it, but there's a lot of different programming languages or coding languages. Some of them you might have heard of are like JavaScript or Python. Maybe you've heard of those. Or we've got things like Scratch, Blocks, stuff like that. Tell us in the chat, have you heard of any of these programming languages? Have you maybe had a go? Or do you maybe know some other programming languages? Sarah, have you heard of any of these programming languages before? And do you maybe know why we might have a few different ones? Because it's a bit confusing. There's a whole bunch of different versions of them, right?
It is. And it's interesting because coding is a language. So in the same way we give instructions, in English or in French, like we can also give instructions in code. So yeah, I think Python always makes me think of a snake. And one that's not listed there is called Ruby. And I love that language because it has things like gems. And I just think, oh, it must be the sparkly one.
Is it really? What, like the programming language says, like, put a gem here?
Yeah. So like their little bits of code have little nicknames like that. And so like that's special for that language, is that their nicknames feel and look a certain way. So that's why I like how there's different languages, because they do different things, but also they make me feel different ways when I use them.
Oh my gosh, that is such a good point. And it's a good point as well. Some programming languages do different things. So we can do different things with different programming languages. We're going to be using a programming language called Blocks today, and it's a really good programming language for beginners. It basically is like using Lego. You just click the bits in and you make the programming work. It's really quite visual. It's a bit like putting pictures together and making something awesome happen. And we can use it to make the slide loads video games. We're going to make a video game today. It's going to be so much fun, and we're just about to jump into it. And we're going to make our video game with a program called Microsoft MakeCode Arcade using Blocks as the programming language. Now, one of the really cool things about MakeCode Arcade is, it completely works on the internet. It's completely free, and you don't need to sign up, and it is extremely beginner friendly. Because it uses blocks, basically it means that you can have no programming experience and make your first game today, which is what we're going to be doing. So if you've never used programming before, never really even touched a computer, you'll be totally fine. All we need to do is click on the link that we're going to post in the chat, and we can get started making games right away. Now, as we're doing this activity, we're going to assume that you don't know anything about computers at all. So we're going to be going completely beginner friendly, so don't feel intimidated. I know it can seem a bit scary getting started with this stuff, but if you are a coding whiz, you're fine too, because MakeCode Arcade has tutorials inbuilt, so you can zoom ahead if you want. You don't have to follow along with us. You can zoom ahead and make your game at your own pace if you'd like to. It's going to be so much fun. Are you excited, Sarah?
I am so excited because I think making a video game with your friends is just, it's fun. Like, you're literally making your own game, not just playing games that other people give you, but you actually get to inject your own creativity and your own vision, and you can make it be what you want. And so I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, and I'm thinking maybe because we're doing Rethink Pink, it could be really fun. Basically, the game we're going to be making has like a shell, like it's got like a base kind of. This is what the game could look like. But the awesome thing is we can completely customize it. We're making it our own, so we can make it look however we want. We can draw the pictures however we want. And I'm thinking it could be fun if we do it in a bit of a Rethink Pink kind of style. So, maybe we want to make it awesomely pink themed, or maybe we want to make it about getting an awesome tech job, or maybe we want to make it about running through a hair salon, or anything like that. Like, let's make it our game whatever we want and whatever we think Rethink Pink might mean to us. It's going to be really good. And one other thing, sorry Sarah, I just interrupted you, but one other thing before we get started, please post your questions and screenshots in the chat and your progress report, because we always want to see where you're going and we want to see where you're up to or how you're traveling. So please post your progress in the chat, because we want to celebrate with you, right? It's like an exciting thing to do.
Speaking of progress, so the question that I have is, has anyone ever made a game before? If so, tell us in the chat, because I'd love to hear if you've ever had the chance to make your own game before. Yeah, because we love, we love meeting game developers who are as passionate as we are.
It's so true. I get so excited every time I meet another game developer. I'm like, hello! I mean, that's going to be everyone at the end of this, so.
Now, actually, I probably should also say, so Laura and I, you may have noticed, we are talking to you in the chat, but we are focused on sharing the workshop. So, we're going to keep the workshop going and we'll have a bit of momentum, but we will be in the chat supporting you and we can answer your questions. So make sure that you're using the chat as well if you need to chat to us. Otherwise, just feel free to follow along on screen and make the game your own.
That is so true. Okay, we're going to post a link to the game to Microsoft MakeCode Arcade now, and we're going to show everyone how to go through it, and we're going to be going through it and making an awesome game. Yeah, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. Alright, so let's open MakeCode Arcade. So this is what it looks like on my screen. Hey Sarah, can you see MakeCode Arcade on my screen?
I can indeed.
Ooh, awesome, awesome. Now, if we scroll around, we can see there is so many different game options. So these are all different games you can make. There's heaps and heaps of tutorials. If you're new to MakeCode Arcade, we're not going to go through these today, but there's a lot of really good getting started tutorials if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed and confused. You're welcome to do those if you want. They're not what we're going to be doing today, but maybe after this workshop, if you're feeling like, hey, I want to become a super, super pro at this, I want to go over every instruction possible, you can have a go at these links here. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of tutorials here.
And Laura?
Yeah.
I don't need to log in, right?
No login needed. You can just go to the link.
And it's free.
Totally free. It's so cool. If you scroll down a bit, you can see some of the games that are made by people in the community. If anyone's ever played Dino Run, someone made a Dino Run version. I love Jetpack Jenny. I've played that. There's a lot of really cool games on here, so that's very cool. Now we're going to be, and you can see the projects you've kind of started as well. You can tell I have been obsessively starting this project Barrel Dodger. There's a reason for that. So if we go down onto the tutorial screen, just down here, if you scroll down a little bit.
Wait, can you start at the top of the screen again?
Yeah.
So everyone can see?
Good idea. So you log in, it looks like this.
Well, we don't log in.
Oh, you don't log in. You click the link, I should say. You click the link. Looks like this. You scroll down, you scroll down, you scroll down. You get to this bit that says tutorials.
Yeah.
If you click once to the right, you'll see this project Barrel Dodger.
Barrel Dodger.
Barrel Dodger. And you look like you have like a little, maybe she's a princess? I don't know who she is. But you have her. And if you click on it, it'll say Barrel Dodger, run and jump to avoid barrels. And you can click blocks start tutorial. And that's what we're going to do, okay? So everyone do that now. And again, I'll do it again in case anyone missed it. So you start at the top, looks like this. You scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Oh, and it'll actually look like this. And then you click across, find Barrel Dodger, click on it, and then go start tutorial. And again, if you need help or you haven't been able to open up the link, just tell us in the chat, we will help you out. So once you click, it'll have a bit of a load and it will take you to this overview screen. So here we can see an example of what our awesome game is going to look like if we just do it exactly like Microsoft MakeCode Arcade tell us to do. So we can see we've got a character who runs along the bottom of the screen. She does a bit of a jump over the barrels. Oh, and if she touches them, game over. You get a high score. It's pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah. And so what is this type of game called, Laura?
Good question. So this is called what we call a side scroller.
Side scroller.
Side scroller. Can anyone guess why it might be called a side scroller? So actually, it's not a... It's like... You can look at it and guess. Do you have any idea why it might be called side scroller, Skira?
Oh, look. I'm sure it'll be in the chat, but it looks like it's moving to one side.
It's scrolling.
It's scrolling along.
It's scrolling to the side. It's a side scroller. So we're going to be making one of these. So we'll hit Yep. So we'll hit OK, and when we hit OK, oh, there's a lot happening on the screen. Okay.
Wow.
So we have this is what we call the console, or basically it's like a video game machine. Basically, we can see what our game's going to look like when we're playing it. We have instructions up the top. We have a progression bit, so we can see how far along in the tutorial we are. The instructions are really good. They change every time you hit the next arrow, so you can keep going through, read the instructions, follow along. They're usually pretty good. If you get stuck, you can hit this little light bulb here, and it will hit on it, and it will tell you kind of a little hint, or basically it will show you what you need to do, what your block needs to look like. We'll go into that a little bit more in a second. And then we also have a bunch of different categories that we can click on to get different blocks of code. Like Sarah said, they're a bit like Lego blocks.
I like that they're all different colors so I can understand that they're different, that they mean different things. That's really cool.
Yeah, exactly right. So basically, I reckon let's just have a read of this first tutorial bit and see if we can figure it out. And if we can't figure it out right away, it's completely fine because it's a marathon, not a sprint. So what does it say? It says, let's create a platform base at the bottom of the screen. So that's going to be what our character runs along. Set a tile map to and put it in on start. Click on the grey box to open up the tile map editor. In the bottom left corner, set the size of the tile map to 10 by 8 and draw a platform for the bottom 2 rows of the tile map. Finally, click on the wall button and fill out those 2 rows. Oh my gosh, I've read that and I don't know what it says.
That's a lot of text.
I literally have no idea. But you know what? A lot of the time you read stuff in programming and tech and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what that says, and it doesn't matter because you will figure it out. It just takes a bit of detective work.
Yeah, so let's do it.
Let's take it one step at a time. So what does it say? Let's create a platform at the bottom of the screen. Get a set tile map to. Okay. First question. Chat, tell us, where do you reckon we might find a set tile map to? We can find hints in the colour. Set tile map to. Sarah, what do you reckon I might need to click to find set tile map to? It's going to be a little block of code that I can click in like a Lego block.
Well, I think I would look where the blocks are. So in the left-hand column there. So I can see the different types. And because it's a grey colour, I think if you click on the grey one, so I think it might be under scene.
There it is.
Oh, hey. See that? Oh, great. So it was the first one. How lucky is that?
It's pretty lucky, isn't it? So we click on set tile map 2. I'm going to click it.
Okay, so we just click it. All right. And then like we don't have to drag it. We just click it and then it picks it up.
Click it once and it's popped it into my like little grid. We're going to call it the workspace.
The workspace. Oh, great. So it's sitting there. Cool.
It's sitting there, but it's kind of grayed out at the moment. It doesn't really look right. So chat, tell us, what do you reckon I might need to do now to get this to work? Where should I put it? It says put it in on start. I don't know what that means. Maybe I should drag and drop it. Sometimes that feels like the kind of thing to do. So I'm going to click on it once. It's going to highlight. Once I click on it, it's going to see we're going to get this yellow outline. And if I drag, whoop, it'll want to click onto on start. You can see it wants to click. It kind of gets this yellow. If I let go.
It's like it's magnetic. I tell you what, my bricks and my blocks don't do that. My real life blocks don't magnetize together. I wish they did.
They don't. And you know what made this possible? Programming. Thank you, programming. So I'll do that again in case anyone didn't see. You have it in there and it's like, oh, it's grayed out. But we need to click it into on start. So click, drag, and release. And if you're interested, basically what this is doing is this is just making a line of code that says, when I boot up this program, we're going to make our tile map, we're going to make the bottom bit look like something. At the moment, it doesn't look like anything, but that's what that bit of code is doing. But we do need to make it look like something, and we're going to make it look like something awesome. That's going to be the next bit of this. So click on the grey box to open the tile map editor. Oh, that's looking like a grey box to me. What do you reckon, Sarah? Should I click on that?
Oh, look. It's the best grey box I've seen today, so let's do it.
Shall we just give it a go and see what happens?
Yeah,
Whoa! Oh my gosh, I clicked it.
Hey, what is this?
This
is this?
So this is the sprite editor. This is my favourite window. I love
Wait. What's a sprite?
Good question. So, okay, so...
I think you're excited about sprites, Laura.
I love sprite. Honestly, this is like part of the reason I did my video game degree. So, sprites are basically, you know when you're playing a video game and you have a little character and they look really cute and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. I wish I could draw you. That's what a sprite is. A sprite is basically a character or a drawing in a video game. And everything that you interact with in a video game has been created by an artist. And we're going to get to create our own video game art in this exercise. Now, sprites can include stuff like characters you meet, enemies you face, but it also means like maybe trees in the background, and it can even mean like the floor you walk on. Anything you see in a game, any object you see in a game is a sprite. So we're going to have a go at making our own, and it's very, very cool. Tell us in the chat, do you have any sprites that you're a particular fan of? Any like drawings or characters in a video game you're like, oh, I like how you look? Let us know. I've got a few favourites. I'll tell you about it in the chat. So, okay, I've opened up this. I can't remember what the next bit of the instruction was, so I'm just going to close it quickly and read again. Click on the grey box to open the timer editor. In the bottom left-hand corner, set the size of the tile map to 10x8 and draw a platform for the bottom 2 rows of the tile map. Okay, so I'm going to do this, and then if you get lost, it's fine, we'll do it again. Click on the grey. And then I'm going to look for the bottom left-hand corner, and I'm going to set it to 10 by 8. So can you see those 2 numbers down the bottom here?
Well, they're very tiny, but I can see them.
They're very small. They look extremely small as well on the video, so sorry about that.
Yeah,
but
if I squint, I can see them.
Really squint. So what we're going to do is we're going to change these to 10 by 8. So I'm just going to hover over the 16, hit backspace, by 10.
Yeah.
And I'll hover over the 16.
Oh, moved.
And it changed the size. Hit backspace. I'm going to write 8. And I'm going to hit enter.
Hey.
And basically what we've just done is, you know how sometimes if you open up Paint or like any other editing platform and you want to change how big your piece of paper is that you draw on? That's what this is. Basically we've just changed how big our video game is going to look, how big our canvas of our video game is going to be.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool. Now the next bit of the instruction was to draw the platform that we're going to walk on. This is my favourite bit. Okay. So, at the moment, we're in gallery. So if we click on gallery, we can see that at the moment we've got like this kind of like forest situation. Like on the bottom left hand here, sorry, we can see there's a bunch of like squares that look like the environment. If I click on one, you can see it changes over here. Oh, you can't really see my mouse, but it changes, like the picture changes. If I hover over, oh my gosh.
Oh, you've picked up some flowers.
I picked up flowers, and if I click,
love it.
It's going to draw the flower. Click again, draw the flower. And I can add different stuff by clicking on these, like, I'm going to call these like paintbrushes. Clicking on the paintbrush and putting one down. So we can make the ground look like whatever we want. It's very cool. If you're feeling really advanced, if you click this drop down, there's a whole bunch of different options.
Whoa.
So you can really pick. I mean, I'm into it. I want to make like a Rethink Pink game, so I'm going to maybe pick like pink themed. I can't speak. Ooh, what's this? It's like a pink blob. Should I do that?
Oh, I like that one.
Ooh, I don't know what that's meant to be. And I'm going to do 2 lines. I've got my 2 lines of... They kind of look like tiles.
I think they look like tiles. Yeah, for sure.
Some orange ones in there.
And the one underneath looks like pizza, but it possibly isn't. It might be lava. But I like the pink. And there's 2 types of pink type. Anyway, there's lots of pink in there. That's cool.
There are.
Yeah.
Well, there's so many options. Looks like I can make a road if I want to. There's so many options here. So again, I'll do that again in case anyone missed it. If you have done it and you're feeling like a speed demon, feel free to zoom ahead. If you have questions, ask them in the chat. I'm going to do that again in case anyone missed it. So I'm going to cross out. Oh, it looks like it's actually remembered my tile map. Oh, I'm going to quickly erase it. By my beautiful work. Oh my gosh.
Magic.
And it was 16 by 16. I'm just resetting it to default just so we can go through that again. But if you do want to zoom ahead, go for it. Okay, cool. So in case you missed that or that was a lot to take in, we're going to click the grey box to open the tile map editor. And then in the bottom left-hand corner, we're going to set the tile map to 10 by 8. And we're going to draw. So I'm going to click on my grey. Whoop, it opens up this. I'm going to go to the bottom left-hand corner and I'm going to make it backspace 10. And then I'm going to make it click on the 16, backspace 8, hit enter. Whoop, I've got this cool thing. And then when I click on this like kind of section on the bottom, or the kind of the middle left here, we can see a whole bunch of different pictures. And when we click on one and bring our mouse all the way over to this kind of grid here, you can see that the picture pops in. And if we click once, it basically paints the picture for you. And if we're doing this, we're going to want to paint 2 rows. So I'm going to go, 2 rows of, looks like I've got people here, but I think I kind of went to my Rethink Pink. I don't know.
You had a drop down there, so we were under miscellaneous.
Yeah, that's true. I'm under miscellaneous, but there's a whole bunch of different options. And if you're feeling really inventive, you can actually go to My Tiles and draw your very own.
Whoa.
That's pretty inventive. If anyone wants to have a go at that, I actually encourage you. It's really fun. I'm not going to do it because I think I might really confuse people. I won't do it. But it's very fun. So if you do manage to draw your own tiles, let us know in the chat. What do we think, Sarah? Do we like my floor pattern?
Yeah, I like them all pink.
Yeah, I thought the orange would make it a bit dynamic. It's good.
Yeah. I mean, I do, but you know, I just am in a pink mood today.
That's fair. Do I want a tree?
Sure. Yeah. That's kind of cute. Yeah.
Maybe a rock?
Yeah. You rock.
You rock. I don't know what kind of place this is that's got a tree and rock and a bunch of pink tiles, but no judgment.
We'll go with it.
We'll go with it. Okay, cool. And just like that, when we go done, we have just added our first ever tile map.
Yeah.
And we can see it load in.
Yes.
So that's what our video game looks like now. We're going to add a character in there, but that's the first step. We've just designed our first level or bit of a video game.
That's fun.
Pretty cool. And
I'm excited.
I know. Oh, actually, we forgot to do one thing. Finally, click the wall button and fill in those 2 rows with wall tiles. Okay, basically that means they've got to be a wall, so our character doesn't fall straight through them. At the moment, that's just a pretty background picture.
Oh, right. Okay, that makes sense. So at the moment, it's just an image, but then we've got to tell the characters that it's hard and they can walk on top.
Pretty much, yeah. Because it's basically at the moment, yeah, this is a background picture, but we need to tell the game, no, that's the ground. We're not going to fall through that.
So which button do we use to do that?
Yeah, so if we look at our I'm going to call them our painting tools on the left-hand side, we can see something that looks like a bit of a 3D block. You guys see that? I've just clicked it, it's red. That's the wall tool. If you hover over it, it actually says draw walls, but I don't think it shows up in the video capture, but that's the wall tool there. So yeah, it's just in those drawings there. And then it's a bit like painting a picture or painting, with your paintbrush. Just go over, hover over, and when you hover over, you'll see some squares turn red. If you click, it turns them permanently red. Don't worry, they're not going to look like that in the game. It's just showing us in this editor that they're solid now. We're not going to fall through. Just going to go through and click where I want solid ground to be. So again, that's using the wall tool. Click through, make sure they're all clicked so my character doesn't fall through. And again, it's just this one here. That's the wall tool there. I'll unclick it for you. And then click it again so you can see. That's the wall tool. Woohoo! Done. And now, we will not fall through the floor. Woohoo! Woohoo! How good's that? Alright, I'm going to go next. So we're going to go to the next bit of the tutorial. But if you're feeling stuck, feel free to ask questions in the chat. We will help you out. And if you're feeling like you want to zoom ahead, ask away. Or,
go for your
actually,
life.
yeah. Send us a progress report, honestly. It's I want to know how you're going. Okay, what's the next bit? Set my sprite to in sprites and drag it into the on start and draw your player sprite. We get to draw what we want our character to look like now. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Sarah, this looks like I've got to drag and drop some more code in. A bit more coding with blocks here. Where might I find a set? Do you know how I might do this? This bit of the question, if that makes sense. It's a bit of the activity.
Yeah.
Where would you look?
So I liked that everything was color-coded, and I have a feeling that it might be the same again. Although controller looks like a very similar color to variables, but I think they might be different colors. So, I mean, and blue looks like where my sprites will be because it's labeled sprite. So can you click on the blue for me, Laura? What's in there?
Well, here we go. Hey,
woo!
Nice detective work. This is the right colors we're looking for. So we've got clicked on sprites, and if we go, we've got set my sprite to sprite, and we've got another grey block. That means we can edit it. Kind of player. I don't know what all that means, but I know that the instructions are telling me that this is what I want. I want the set my sprite to, which is what that is. So again, I'm going to click it, and again, if you couldn't find that one, I'm just going to find it again. So it was in sprites. Click on it. Set my sprite. Click on that once. Cool. And it's doing that thing again where it's dropped it randomly and it doesn't really know where to go, but it says I have to drag it into on start. So click, drag, 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 let it magnetize in there. Boop. Just like that. Tell us in the chat, how are you going? Have you managed to put in a set my sprite? I want to know. Have you managed to draw your sprite yet? Have you zoomed ahead? Or are you still going with your background? Interested to know. And again, remember, if you do get a bit stuck, you can also click on here for a hint. It'll show you what your code's meant to look like as well. All right, I think we have to draw our sprite now, huh? Should we do that, Sarah?
Oh, I'd love to. And you know what I love about this part is that, you know, we've done a bit of tiny bit of coding, so that's being a hacker. And then now that we get to do some drawing, we get to be a hipster.
Mm-hmm.
Very
I love
excited.
this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to click sprite. Bloop. And now I'm in the editor. Oh my gosh. Now I can draw what I want my sprite to look like. So it's a bit like if anyone's ever used Paint before, it's a little bit like that. So we've got a pen tool, we've got an eraser, we've got a rectangle tool, we can draw some basic shapes, paint bucket tool, circle, line, got a hand tool, that's to move the canvas around.
Oh,
it's pretty good. Now, one awesome thing, I think it's a really awesome thing about Microsoft MakeCode is you're kind of limited to a small color palette and you can only draw in squares. Now, that might seem frustrating when you're making your first game, but trust me, as a game designer, that's actually awesome. We say that the best design and the best creations happen when you have limitations, because it means you have to get really creative and really inventive about what you're doing, and it's the best way to start learning. Sometimes when you've got everything, you can do whatever you want straight away, you feel really overwhelmed and you don't actually get anything done. So with this program, you have to draw in squares and you have to draw with these colors, and it means we're going to get really creative about what we're making. It's going to be good. It's my rant. What should our character look like? Tell us in the chat. What do you reckon our character should look like, or what do you want your character to look like? It doesn't have to be a person. What do you reckon?
I'm excited to go on an adventure today. I have a question before we start drawing.
Yeah.
So you know how in the bottom left-hand corner we had to set our, you know, the size of the screen. Does it matter what's in the bottom left-hand corner now?
That's a very good question. I don't know. But what we're going to do is we're going to draw it, and if it looks like it doesn't work, we're just going to go in and change it.
Yeah, like I don't know either, so...
Yeah. I don't think so. The instructions didn't tell us we had to, so I assume not. But it's a very good question, Sarah. And yeah, a lot of the time I find with tech, if I don't know the answer, I just have a go, and if it breaks, I just fix it. It doesn't matter. Stuff breaks all the time when you're making stuff with tech, and it's okay.
Absolutely. And you just click buttons until you learn.
You do. You do. You really do. Honestly, the best way to learn tech is just to break it enough until you know how not to break it anymore.
Just press lots of buttons.
Yeah.
Okay, well today, for a character, so it's going to be a side-scroller game, so it's going to be like running along on the side. So it'll be a 2D character. I don't know. What do you think, Laura?
I don't know. We could find some inspiration. If you click gallery at the top here, it's actually very similar to when we had that, you could click all the different pre-made tiles. There's a whole bunch of options that have already been made for us. So if you don't really feel like drawing your own character, or maybe you're not super artistic, or you're feeling like you don't want to be a drawer today, that's all right. You can click on gallery and have a look. So this is cute. This dinosaur is cute.
I really like a lot of it.
So we could use one of those, or we could draw our own.
Oh, well, maybe could we try doing a little bit of both?
I actually don't know how to edit the pre-made ones.
Okay.
It's a really good question.
Yeah.
Maybe let's try drawing our own so we can show everyone how the editor works.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So I always default to drawing a love heart.
So drawing a what?
Love
a love
heart.
heart. That's a great idea. I love it.
It's surprisingly tricky.
My earrings are love hearts.
They are, actually.
Yeah. And I have a love heart in my signature because I just love love hearts.
Do you really?
I really do.
Sarah, I used to have a love heart in my signature.
Laura?
Do you want to be friends?
Conversation for another time. But there you go.
Anyone else?
We like about each other. Anyone else have a love heart in their signature?
Or like anything else kind of funky? Like I used to also have a smiley face in my signature. But then someone told me my signature was too immature and I got rid of it. And I seriously regret it.
That's why I did it.
Yeah. It's fun. Just have a bit of fun with it. Okay,
so I see you're drawing around here, Laura.
I am. It's not particularly symmetrical, but what I've done is I'm going to erase it so I can do that again so everyone can see. What I did was I'm using the eraser tool here to get rid of my beautiful not symmetrical heart. I clicked on the pen.
Yep.
And I clicked on, I had pink selected because I thought pink was kind of topical, right?
Yeah.
And then I just click and drag what I want my love heart to be. And you can see it's a little bit hard to draw at the moment. It like kind of clicks and it's like that's wonky as, but it doesn't matter, right? It's fun. The focus is just having a go, right?
And you can always, like, you know, I can see that you're sort of leveling it out, getting a feel for almost making it right, and you're deleting some of the bits that are a bit wonky and balancing it out.
Yeah, obviously we've got a bit of a tilt to one side here, but that's all right.
That's all right.
That's my love heart. What colour should the middle of it be, do you think?
Well, we've only got a couple of options, but I was wondering maybe I kind of want to make it mostly pink and then like a little bit of red. Is that like
an accent?
Yeah, like a little bit of as if it was like a shiny love heart.
Yes. Ooh, I'm into that. Okay, so I'm going to click on pink and I'm going to make sure the middle's pink too. So I've got clicked on pink again. I'm going to find the paint bucket tool. It's just to the diagonal right hand side of the pen. Click on paint bucket tool. I think it says fill tool. Maybe click.
Yeah.
She's pink.
Hey!
Yay! Should I draw?
That's much quicker than colouring it in.
I know, you can colour it in too, but yeah, it's quicker to use the paint bucket. So
Thanks, programming.
Thanks,
for
programming.
not having a paint bucket.
Thank you. And should we add that shining that you're talking about, Sarah?
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to click back onto the pen tool, I think, for shining.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go boop, boop, boop.
Oh, that's nice.
Should I do one more? Maybe one down here?
Yeah.
It's kind of cute. It's not perfect, but it's kind of cute. Bit random, but could we give it legs so it kind of looks like it's like moving along?
Ooh, that's a great idea.
Pink, do you reckon?
You're hovering over yellow. I liked the idea that it would have little yellow red legs.
I was thinking that was kind of fun, but I didn't know if we wanted to really stick with pink. Okay, I'm going to go yellow legs. Yeah. And tell us in the chat, what does your character look like? I'm going to give it pink feet.
Can you give it feet?
Yeah, pink feet.
Oh, shoes. Oh. Yeah, that's better.
I can't tell if this is the best or most freaky thing I've ever made, but tell us in the chat, are you scared or are you into it? I think I'm into it. I kind of like it.
Oh, okay.
I would play this game.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. When we're happy with our sprite, let's hit done.
Done.
Okay.
That looks good.
Yeah, and we can see. And there it is!
No.
Oh my gosh. Everyone.
It looks like a pink sheep, maybe, but I like that it's a love heart.
Yeah, it does look a bit like a pink sheep. That's the fun thing. This style of art is called pixel art. That's one of the fun things about it. Like, it just kind of becomes its own thing sometimes. It's like, okay, yeah, that's what it's meant to be. That's good. Tell us in the chat, what did you draw? How are you going? What step are you up to? And let us know if you've got any questions. All right. Should we go to the next bit? We've probably got maybe 10 more minutes of making our game. It doesn't matter if we don't get it done because we can just keep doing it after this lesson because Microsoft MakeCode Arcade has tutorial.
Not going anywhere. It's going to stay there.
Exactly.
Great.
Let's have a go at the next bit and then we'll see how we'll kind of wrap it up and see how everyone went. What's this bit? Okay. On the tile map editor, open the tile map editor and find the tile position where you want to place your first. Place your place. Hint, it's 1 to 5. You can see the position on the lower left of the tile map editor. Use the place my sprite on top of the tile map col row. Wow, that is the longest thing ever. Block to position your player on that tile. So, that's confusing ass. I don't know what that means. Oh my gosh, it's fine. It's fine. Guess what we've got? We've got hints.
Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha. Okay, so on the tile map editor, open the tile map editor and find the tile position where you want to place your place. It's 1, 5. Okay, so basically what that is saying is, does anyone remember how to open the tile map editor? Tell us in the chat. Does anyone remember how to do that? Something to do with a grey box, except we've coloured in our grey box now. Tile map editor. Sarah, do you remember where it is? It's okay if you don't remember.
Yeah, so I think because it's grey, that I think it might be under scene.
Oh, close. We've actually already got a tile map editor. We've already been editing in it.
Oh, so they don't want a new tile map editor. They want us to edit the one we already have.
I think so. So if we click on this, basically what this instruction is telling us to do is have a look at our tile maps, what we're calling our piece of paper, and figure out where do we want our main character to go when they load in. Where do they want to sit around?
So like in the editor, like when the game starts and when we get going, like we have to put it somewhere. So because at the moment when I saw it on the screen, she was floating in the middle of the air.
Yeah, that's kind of the wrong spot, right? We kind of want her to be maybe on top of this rock.
Yeah.
Maybe. So what we're going to do is we're going to open the
start on the rock. Oh, I like that.
I kind of did that accidentally, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, I like it too. Yeah.
So I'm going to click on my tile map editor. You can go set tile map to. We can see that's our tile map editor. So click on the grey box. It's a bit confusing if you didn't get that. So I just know this because I'm a genius and I've been doing this for many years. So we want it to load in we want it to load in on top of the rock. You can see when I move my little pointer around, I don't know if you can see, but in the bottom left-hand corner, can you see those numbers changing? It's a bit hard to see on my screen.
Oh, wow, they're so tiny.
They're tiny. But
so next to the 10 by 8, it's then like 1, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 3, yeah.
That's moving around. I want my character to load in on top of my wall. So I want it to go and just stand on top of the wall, on top of the brick. So when I'm hovering over the tile, the bit that I want my character to be on, it says 1, 5, and the little numbers that are next to the 10 and the 8 and the lock in the bottom left-hand corner. 1, 5. Okay, I'm going to keep that in my mind. I don't need to do anything else in the tile map editor. I just was opening this so I can know exactly where I want my character to load in on. So 1, 5, 1, 5. Keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. Okay. So then I have to use the place my sprite on top of tile map called row. Oh my gosh. Block to position your player on that tile. And again, I can click on this hint. That's the one I want. So I'm going to look for a place my sprite on top of. And I'm going to look for it in scene because it's the right color. I'm literally just looking for a color. So I'm going to click on scene. Here we go. Place my sprite on top of blah, 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 blah. I'm going to click on it. And just like we did before, drag, 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 click, pop. And it's almost done now, actually. What we need to do is, remember how I was remembering 1 and 5 before? So remember, you can see here. There's 2 spots for numbers. Tell us in the chat, what do you reckon I might put in these 2 spots? 2 spots for numbers. What might I pop in there?
I love that without putting the numbers in, that your little heart is in the top left-hand corner, waiting for you to find a spot for it on the game.
It's waiting. I'm going to make this. Let's see what happens if I change one number. Enter. It's loading. It has to load sometimes. Oh!
Hello.
Moved across. Okay, so it's gone 1 across, and maybe I need to go 5 down.
Yeah.
Maybe to get on top of the rock.
About right.
5. Will she work? Will she work? Will she work? Ah! And just like that, she's in the right spot. Oh my God. We did it. We did it. We've positioned her. She's looking great. She's looking great. Now the next bit. Oh, this is a fun little bit. Okay, I'm going to probably really quickly do this just so we can see some action happening in our game. Now, like we said, you are welcome to keep going through this at your own pace because you've got the instructions there. But this bit we're going to add now is going to make the game actually do something when we touch it. We've got our beautiful art in there, but we're going to make it move. So let's give the sprite the ability to jump when we press a button. We do this by moving the player upward in an on a press event. Oh my gosh, I'm going to click the hint. What does it say? Oh, on a press button, set my sprite. Whoa, I don't know what that means. I'm going to copy this code exactly as it is. And again, I'm going to speed through this a little bit just so we can see what it looks like when we have some movement in our game. So we can have a bit like, yeah, I can do it. But you're welcome to go through this after the lesson too. So basically what I've done is I've loaded in this new thing. It's going to say when I press the A button, something's going to happen. And I want my sprite to have a velocity. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to look for the right color and the right bit of block. Set my sprite. Is it this one? Set my sprite. There we go. So it looks like that. Bloop, click it. Drag it in. Set my sprite.
Oh, okay, great. So we're programming the A button.
Yeah.
Then we're going to set our sprite, and it says to X, but then that'll have a drop down.
That'll have a drop down.
And that's where velocity is.
Does anyone know what velocity means? Tell us in the chat. Do you know what velocity means?
Ooh, bit of science in there.
Velocity is. Oh, hey, speaking of, would you like to come to our science workshop? And then I've just made that -200. So what happens if I press A now? Oh, actually I messed that up. I put the wrong velocity in. Haha. BY.
So when you made it X, it went along the X-axis and it went backwards. Instead we wanted to go up.
And now I've done that. Now there's no gravity in the game yet, so she'll just kind of zoom up and then stay out there. But if I hit restart,
there we go.
and if you
what goes up must come down.
Must come down. And
we'll
in
have
these,
to program for your sprite to come back down.
yeah, and in the next instructions, we'll talk about how to make our sprite come back down. So how to add gravity. We're going to talk about how to make sure our sprite doesn't hit a wall. How to do a restart, add a high score. It's all in there. And like we said, like we've already done it for a little bit today, and we can have a go at making our.
I think we've got a bit more time to go a bit longer, Laura.
Do we? Am I bad at telling the time?
No, but what we'll be able to do is tell people how long the workshop goes for, because once we've worked it out, then we can tell them. So, should we keep going just a little bit more?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Please, by all means. I think I must have my clock wrong. So that's fine. Okay, well, let's do the next bit then. Oh my gosh. Well, actually, should I maybe go over how to do the on-button A again? Kind of sped through that.
I think, sure.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe I'll just explain what happened. I'll do it again. Actually, I'll do it again. I'm going to just chuck that in a bit. Okay, so basically, again, we're going to, as Sarah said, we're going to tell our code, hey, when I press the A button, do a certain thing. So we're going to look for on A button pressed in controller. It's got its own new clicky blocky thing. I'll click on it. Oh, sick. Loaded in there. And I'm just going to click and drag it and move it around so it's in a new spot. On A button pressed. Now I want the character, my sprite, to jump up and down. So something's going to happen to the sprite. And if I click on the hint, until I need my sprite block of code. So I'm going to click on sprites, set my sprite. I'm going to find that block of code. So set my sprite. I'm going to click on it. And then I'm going to drag it in and just click it under on A button pressed. And I've almost got it right already. I just need to click on this drop down here. See, there's a whole bunch of options. I'm going to click on VY, velocity Y, click on that, and change the 0 to -200. And again, if you get a bit stuck, click on this little drop down and just copy exactly what this code is. Now, basically what this code is doing is we're just basically saying, hey, when I click the A button, we're going to find my little sprite and we're going to set its VY velocity, its up and down speed, how quick it's going up and down. When I hit A, I'm going to make it go zoom at a speed of 200. It's going to go boop, like that. Basically, it's going to go up. It's going to go negative 200. That's what that means, basically.
So what you just did there was that you just copied what that one said. And sometimes we feel bad about copying, but that's how we learn. And in technology, so much stuff is copied. And sometimes that's why we share our stuff afterwards so other people can copy it so they don't have to do all of it from scratch. So it's totally fine to copy, and you don't feel bad about it. That's how you learn in technology.
It's so true. Like often, I don't think people realize how much code is copied. Like,
yeah.
So like I have a lot of friends who work in tech, and they often just go on the internet. Like it's their professional job to be a programmer, and they go on the internet and they're like, oh, how do I do this? And like someone's posted the answer and they copy and paste it. Like,
so it's your job to work out what to copy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but it's not a bad thing to copy and paste because that's how we learn, right? It's fine if you can't do everything perfectly right away. It's like you would be a mega genius if you could do that. I can't do that. I always copy stuff. It's the best way to get it done.
Okay, so I want to see. Can I see this come back down?
Yes.
Now that we make our heart sheep jump, how do we get it to come back down?
Good idea. Okay, so looks like I need a bit more code. Drag a set my sprite X into the on start. Okay, sprite. Looking for another set my sprite. Set my sprite X. I'm gonna click on that.
Oh, cool. It's the exact same button.
The exact same button. Exact same button as we did for this bottom one. And just like before, I'm going to drag it and I'm going to click it. I'm just going to pop it in underneath this one here. I'll just click it on like that. I don't really like how cramped this is all getting, so I'm just going to click and drag this away. Just really quickly. Now, I'm feeling nervous that I didn't do that properly, so I'm just going to click on this hint button. And yeah, it looks like I've done it right so far. It looks like set my sprite's in the right bit, so I've done it right so far. And click the drop down and select AY, acceleration Y. Click on the drop down, I'm looking for an AY. Tell us in the chat. Can you see AY? Sarah, can you see AY in this drop down here?
I can see, was it VY that we selected to make it jump, so velocity Y. Then I can see acceleration X, and there it is.
AY.
AY, acceleration Y.
So I'm going to click AY, and what does it say? Set value to 500. So the character is pulled down by gravity. All right, let's do that.
Oh.
I'm just going to do exactly what it's telling me, and I'm going to see what happens. Okay. Cool. All right, I got my love heart. It's on the ground. Good start.
Hey! And it didn't go all the way to the roof.
It didn't. And do you know why that is? Can anyone tell us in the chat why they think that might be? If you're feeling like a super genius. What might that be? It didn't go all the way to the roof because basically what we're doing with this bit of code is we're saying that we're going to always try to be pushing the character down. Our AY is always going down, and it's going down at 500. The number's 500. Now, when we're adding our on button pressed, we're basically saying VY, velocity Y, we're going to push our character up at 200. But the game's already pushing it down at 500. So it means that there's a really big force that's pushing down. It's going to make sure it can't jump up as much. So I reckon if we increase that, it's not going to jump as high again. So what happens if I make it 1,000? Just for fun.
What? My goodness. Oh, it really doesn't want to jump. Boom, 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 boom.
But I reckon if I made this like negative 500, let's see what happens. I reckon that's going to make me jump higher up.
Ayo! Ayo!
So the awesome thing about game design is a lot of it is just, let's see what happens if I play with these numbers. Oh, it did that. So that's what we're doing. I'm just going to set these to the numbers they told me. But if you want your character to have a really short jump or a really quick jump, you can just play with those numbers and see what happens. So it's 500. There we go.
Right.
Click plus. Click play.
Boop, boop.
Nice.
Awesome.
Look at that. Got a jump.
Well, that looks like it works. Great. What's next, Laura? What have we got next? I mean, I'm excited. We've got a jumping heart. What's next?
So let's have a look. So we need to make sure that the sprite is on the ground before jumping. Haha! At the moment, we can just hit A million times and it will fly up.
So it just stays there because it's like hasn't had time to come back down again.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, I like that. I like this game already.
It's
but
jumping in the air. This tutorial thinks that air jumping is not fun. But, I mean, hey, I'm with you, Sarah. I like a bit of air jumping, but, you know. Should we maybe skip this step?
Yes. Let's skip this step. Let's keep our little jumpy.
Now,
so what that's telling us to do is that it can't jump again until it hits the ground. But Laura and I actually want it to be able to, like, if it gets to there and it wants to jump higher, we should just be able to push the button and keep it jumping high if we want to. And I think that, look, that's what we can do with video games. We get to have our say. I want to have that say. Let's move to the next step. Let's
agree.
do it.
I think that's fun. Now, if you want to have a game that isn't broken, you can't just, like, instantly win just by spamming A, you're welcome to do this step. But me and Sarah think it's fun to fly, so we're just going to leave that in there. Next, let's have some barrels moving at random speeds. Oh, we're going to get some enemies. Make them start from the right-hand side of the screen and fly towards the player sprite. Oh my gosh, I'm into that. Okay. Move an on-game update every into the editor and set the interval time to 2,000 milliseconds. All right.
Okay, this is like a new instruction.
It is. Brand new instruction. So.
We've got more room.
Yeah, you can click. I should have said this. You can kind of click around it.
I just thought we were going to have to cram it all in. I was getting a bit worried.
No.
Cool.
Yeah, if you click empty space, you can go blah, 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 blah. It's good.
Oh, great.
Okay. And it looks like I've got a hint. So maybe this will just give me a bit of a, like, oh, this is what I'm expecting. Whoa, looks like I get to do more drawing. Awesome. Cool.
Woohoo.
So.
We're going to draw barrels.
Yeah, we're going to draw enemies. So move an on-game update every into the editor. Now, chat, where might I find on-game update every? It's purple. And it's talking about game.
Laura, down the bottom it says math. That's purple. What happens when you click there?
Oh, that's true. Pick random.
I don't think it's the right colour purple.
What about this purple?
Hmm.
Very confusingly, there is two purples.
better though. That's a dark purple. That's where it is.
Here we go. On game update every. Here we go. It's a new instruction. Let's click it. Oh, and it's popped it there.
What a mess.
What a mess.
Ah, code everywhere. Yeah, that's it.
Can you believe it? By the way, let's just take a minute to look at this. We have done all this programming and all this art, and we've made this thing. Like,
that's pretty good.
We're so smart.
In about an hour, that's pretty good.
Like, that's really cool. Like, honestly, everyone, just come on back. Honestly, nice work. Okay. And set the interval time to 2,000 milliseconds. Okay, looks like I need to edit a number. Tell us in the chat, when might I edit a number? Tell. Is there a spot in this purple bit of code that there's a number I might be able to change? Sarah, can you see a number maybe I might be able to change in this?
Oh, look, that 500 could probably get a bit of an update. What do you reckon?
I think it's asking to become 2,000. Ah! Gives me options.
Oh, okay. Milliseconds. I don't see 2,000. Oh, you can just write it in. Okay, so it doesn't need to be in the drop down. I can just type in as many as I want. Okay.
Don't really know why they bothered with that. Anyway. There you go. So there we go. I've just typed in 2,000. Drag a projectile from side into it and draw the barrel. Oh my gosh. Projectile. That sounds like an enemy to me.
If we're drawing it, then I think it's in sprites.
Yes, I think so too. And I'm looking for a projectile from side. Okay.
Oh yeah, I think red looks like projectile.
Set projectile from side. That looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm going to click it and I'm going to go drag it, magnetize. And I don't know if that's right. I'm feeling nervous about it, so I'm just going to click the hint. That looks pretty good to me.
Oh yeah.
Now,
and it just looks a bit different because there's a grey box. Why is there a grey box?
Well, I think from previous experience, every time there's a grey box, if we click it, we get to draw stuff, right?
Oh, I hope so.
So let's click it and see what happens.
Hey,
so
grey box!
This is where we get to draw what the enemy is going to look like. So in this game, you know, if you remember the original game, we had the princess and she's running along and jumping over barrels. So the enemy for her are barrels, but we can make the enemies whatever we want to. So do we want to have barrels as the enemy, or do we something else?
What else could we have?
And again, if we go to gallery,
oh yeah,
we can see some ones that have already been made. Do we maybe want to pick one that's already been made?
Yes, I do. Let's pick something. Oh my goodness, how fun!
Shark.
Oh,
it's a bit grim. Oh my gosh, this one's eating. Okay.
Do we have any pink enemies?
Yeah, good idea. Oh, it's sparkles. This just looks like a laser beam. Oh my gosh, they have love hearts.
Oh, they did. Yeah, that's why I wanted to edit it. I like the little blue ball. That looks like a cool enemy. Like
the like bubble.
Yeah, it's a bubble. You know, the little blue ball.
It's very cute.
Oh, that's cool. Let's use that.
Yeah, good idea. Okay, should I do just the full circle?
Yeah.
Click it. What happens if I click it? Oh, it just brings it here. Oh, we can edit it.
Ah, see?
After all that. I'm going to put a pink. It's for fun.
Yeah. Could we maybe put a red dot in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because red goes faster.
That's true. And it's dangerous. And this is an enemy. Oh, what if I make it, like, angry?
Oh, yeah, that's it.
That's not...
That's enemy. That looks a little bit... Yeah.
Watch out. Okay. I'm going to hit done. Nice.
Hey, there we go.
Now, did it...
It's coming in from the roof.
Oh my gosh. So a bit random, but I mean, it's there.
Is that what we want? We could have it coming from anywhere, right?
I think we could. I'm just going to check the hint just to see in case we missed a step. This looks slightly different, doesn't it? Can anyone see a difference? Tell us in the chat. This is what ours looks like. We're going to read it really carefully. Set projectile to projectile. We've chosen a sprite from side with VX50, VY50. What does this example say? Set projectile to projectile. They've drawn a barrel from side VX100, VX50. This is a bit different. You know what? Just to be on the safe side. Lucky I checked the hint. I reckon I'm going to change this VX. Because ours is 50, theirs is 100. Let's see should we see what happens if I make mine 100? I'm going to do it. Whoa.
Hey, it's like a meter. That's cool.
Speedometer. I'm going to make it 100. See what happens.
Oh, that'll make it go faster, maybe.
Because it's like speed.
It's like on the car. Yeah, okay.
This is foot to the floor. Ready?
Oh, now I'm scared.
I'm scared too. I hope our character will be okay. We're having a loading, so obviously a lot of maths happening here. Well, my computer's frozen. One or the other.
It's kind of funny how it didn't have it in the instructions.
Sometimes that happens a bit, and you just got to be tricky. But the awesome thing is, like, it's not particularly... No, it actually just fully froze my computer. So it's good. I've got to bring it down here. Yeah, sometimes they just, like, don't put the instructions in there, but that's okay. Oh.
There we go. Oh.
So that's after I made it 11, because I thought my computer froze, so I was being a bit over the top. So I'll take it back to 100, and we'll see what the change was. Remember at 50, it was different angle.
Oh, it's the angle. And it is it going faster? I don't know. Oh, maybe it just feels that way because it's a further angle.
Let's bring it down. 35. See if I could... It's slower.
It's the same speed. It is a bit slower because I don't think it has as far to go, maybe?
Yeah. Ah. Every 2,000 milliseconds it has to get to its endpoint, maybe.
Got it. So it's not got as far to go, and it's doing it in the same amount of time, so it's going to go slower.
There we go. I'm going to bake it back up to 100, just so it's...
I like it fast.
Me too. It's kind of like... It is. It's like the speedometer. Foot to the floor.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of cute, isn't it? All right. Shall I go to the next bit? How are we going for time?
I think we've got a little bit longer, because I want to see... I want the side to scroll.
I mean, I want that too.
Yeah. How do we get to that bit?
I think we're almost there. So pick a random block where Vx is set to a range from -100 to -80. Also set the Vy speed for the projectile to be 0. I don't know how to do that. Hint. Luckily we have a hint. What do they do? Ah! They use the math.
What? Oh, they've put more in there? Hang on. What? From projectile, from side? Oh, but...
Can you see what they've done?
Pick a random block. Pick random. No. Oh, so they've put the pick random block in there, maybe?
Yeah. So basically, at the moment, what this is doing is every time it makes our little bubble, it's going at the exact same speed. So maybe if we're playing the game, it's a little bit predictable. So I find that sometimes if they're playing a game or they're doing something over and over again, if something's happening at the exact same time every time, the challenge goes away because you just know what's going to happen. This is going to make it go at a random speed. Pretty cool.
Do you know what I like about this one, Laura? Is it looks like if we're adding code into the code.
We are, yeah. It's like editing something we've already done.
Oh, amazing. I can't wait.
So
let's see how it'll change.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for this pick random, which is in math. So I'm going to click math. Whoa, there it is. Pick random. Now, if we want to edit code we've already made, the really awesome thing about block code usually is if you see these circles with numbers, if you drag something that says math is basically just a number. It's just like the code making a number for us. So if I click on this and I put it into my canvas, if I click and drag, oh, I've got a little dot on the end. If I drag that over my 100, you can see the two dots appear next to each other. And just like that. I now have, it's picking, what's basically happening is it's picking a random number between 0 and 10. Remember those random numbers affected the angle and the speed. So if it's picking, say, 50 at one point, it's going to kind of go at this angle kind of slow. And then if it randomly picks 100 for the next one, it's going to go vroom, straight at us. So this is making the game unpredictable and tricky. What did they give? They gave -100 and -80. So let's see what happens if I put this.
Oh, I wondered why it had gone so slow. It's because the numbers weren't big enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be it. All right, so I've just set it to -100, -80. So we'll see what happens. And it's okay if we don't fully get it. Okay, so it's coming at me now.
Wait, negative? Like, it just started going the other way.
Yeah. Do you know why that is, Sarah? I know, so I can tell you.
Well, I think it was a positive number before, right? Like it was 100 and it was going that way, and now it's negative and it's going that way.
Yeah. So basically, when you think about like the game, it's a bit like if anyone's ever seen a graph before, it starts from 0 in the bottom left-hand corner, And when you go up, it's positive. The numbers go up. So going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When you go up, and that's up the y-axis. And when you go to the right-hand side, you're starting from 0. You're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're going positively in that direction. So if we want something to come at us from the left-hand side, we have to go backwards. It means we have to go for negative numbers. So basically in our game, if we ever want anything to go away from us, we need to give it a positive number. If we want it to come towards us, we need to give it a negative number. It's okay if that's a bit confusing, but basically...
It's really confusing because you're reversed, I think, in the screen. So that's even more reversing. But there's a lot of code in there. I love that it's coming at us now rather than going over our heads. And I think that's going to be super fun in our game.
I think so too. Should we go for the next step?
Yay! Yeah, we're nearly done, hey?
We're nearly done, yeah. We've only got a few more. And tell us in the chat how you're going. What step are you up to? How are you going? Let us know. All right, what does this code look like? Give us a hint. Ooh. I know what this is doing.
It's in the same block because that looks familiar to me. And then there's a yellow bit around it, the block that we need. And we're going to place the projectile. So we're going to, like we did that before when we placed our sprite. Mm-hmm. So we're going to place the projectile on top of tile map col 9 row 5. Now, I remember the tile map from the start. Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so... I don't know. I can't wait to see what happens. We're going to place the projectile and it's got something to do with the tile map.
Yeah, exactly. So let's read the instructions and see. But I have a bit of an idea of what's going to happen just by looking at that hint. Place my sprite on top of blah, 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 and drag it into the on-game update interval, which is this block of code we've already made.
It's a very wide block.
It's really wide. Like, it doesn't actually fit. So we're going to put that after. This is important. We're going to put it after set projectile 2.
Okay.
Set col to 9 and row to 5, which is on the right-hand side of the screen, directly above the wall. Change my sprite to projectile so that it refers to the sprite was created. Okay, I'm going to copy this example, because that's basically, we're just going to copy this, and then we can explain what happens. So, place projectile on top of tile map. Okay, looking for that place projectile thing. This is what we did with the player a bit earlier. So, do you guys remember where we found place projectile?
I thought it was in the red ones, but then when I thought about it more, I remember like that it wasn't. So it was somewhere like, because I thought, oh, it's this color, it must be there. But I think because they called it a sprite, because we had to draw the projectile. So I reckon maybe like I'd like to look in the sprites box.
You might be right, actually.
Yay!
Are you right?
No, am I? Is that right, or am I wrong?
I think you were almost right. I think you had the right idea, but it's in scene. It's got the
because we're going to place it in the scene. We're not creating a new one.
Yeah. Actually,
okay, that makes sense.
That's spot on. So we're going to find this place tile map. It's this one here, basically. Click on it, and it's just randomly popped it.
If we want to draw a sprite, we go to the sprites box. But if we're doing something like in the game, it's under scene.
Yeah. So if we're doing something in the game that already exists. We've already created our sprite because we've got it in this this kind of a pink bit here. We're already making our sprite here. We just need to move it. So we're moving it with this block of here. So if we need to move it after we've already made it, that means we have to click it on after we've made it, basically. This bit happens first, this bit happens second, if that makes sense. So now what does it say? We've got to set to col to 9 and row to 5. Basically, can you see here where it says col 0, row 0 in this bit of block here?
Yeah.
So set col to 9. Whoop. And set row to 5. Just see what happens. Tell us in the chat what do you think is going to happen. Almost right, but it moved me. Can you guys see that? It moved me instead. That's not really what we want, is it, Sarah?
No, it isn't, Laura. I know. Wait, I think it's because it's placed my sprite. And we were my sprite with the little lovey heart.
So the sprite is us.
Yeah, so that's why we moved. But I don't think we weren't trying to move us.
No. Yeah, that's exactly right. So at the moment it's saying we're going to move my sprite to column 9, row 5. But we want to move the bubble. We want the bubble to be coming at us.
Yeah.
So to change that, we just click on where it says My Sprite. Oh, we can see this thing projectile. That sounds all right.
And that's what the bubble was called.
So if I click on that, let's see what happens.
Oh, we're back where we are.
We're back where we are.
Where's the projectile?
It's appearing and disappearing. Oh, it's so quick that it doesn't actually even show on my screen.
Really?
Yes. It like briefly appears and disappears.
Like, can you see it? I can't see it.
Yeah, I can. It's because it's flashing so quickly that it like disappears before it can pop up on the screen.
Can we slow it down?
Maybe, let's see. Let's try and change some numbers and see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, hey! I figured it out.
Ah, that's why.
Have you looked? Can anyone see any different in the hint and my code? Anyone see any different? Tell us in the chat. There is some. I'm looking at a VY. It's just under the pick random. My VY says 50. Theirs says 0. What happens if I change mine to 0 too? I don't actually know. Let's find out. What if I make sure it's the exact same as the hint? Oh!
Hey!
Hey! And you know why that was happening? Can anyone guess? Remember, if we're doing VY, we're going down the page. Oh, we're going up the page, sorry. I think it was just going really quickly.
Oh, like it was just...
It was appearing and then instantly disappearing because it was going super fast up the page.
Right, because it's going up the y-axis. But we don't want it to go up the y-axis. We just want it along the x-axis. Okay.
Yeah. Now we have our side scroller, pretty much. The only thing left to do now is we've got to make the bubble hurt us if it touches us. We can already jump over it, so we can already kind of play the game.
Hey.
We've just got to make the bubble hurt us if it hits us. Oh, I died just then.
Oops.
And we need to make it give us a score. And then we'll be pretty much done.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it?
Yeah, I like the score part.
I like the score. Hey, speaking of, this is the score bit. Now tell us in the chat again, how are you going? What bit are you up to? How are you traveling? Have you managed to finish your game yet? Maybe you're editing all the sprites. Are you still on the first bit? Tell us how you're going. Alright, we're going to have a go at editing the score now. So each time a barrel starts to move, we want to increase the score. Get a change score by and put it into the game update every. Now the game update every, that's our really super long, stretched out bit of block of code. And we need to get a change score by. I have an idea of where that might be. I'm just looking at the colours here.
That's a new colour. I mean,
it is.
Again, I think there's two that look very similar. It looks similar to info. Like, is that the right colour?
I think it's info. Let's have a look. Here we go.
Oh, hey.
So we need to put that into the game update every. Now, I'm just going to click and drag it. I don't really know where it has to go. I'm just going to guess and put it just under place. See what happens. And now I've got that in there. I'm going to look at the hint just to check if it was right. It's pretty right to me.
Looks pretty right to me.
And now we're seeing every time, basically what's happening is every time the bubble gets to the end of the screen, can you see my score going up?
Yeah.
Every time.
9, 10,
I'm
11.
pretty good at this game.
Oh, we're so great at this
I'm
game.
not even doing anything. I'm winning. Do you know why that's happening? It's because basically this block of code here that we've just made is saying first every 2,000 milliseconds. Tell us in the chat if you know what this is in seconds. Every 2,000 milliseconds we're going to make a bubble and it's going to fly at us and it's going to appear in that column 9 row 5. And every time, and you know, we do this every 2,000 milliseconds. So every time the bubble gets to the end, give us an extra score. Now,
and then it repeats, right? Is that what the big bracket is? It's like, do it again.
Exactly.
Do it again.
It's repeating.
Do it again.
So I guess the way to stop the score going up is to make the game stop running this bit of code. That's just me guessing. I think that might be what's going to happen. But yeah, but at the moment, we've got a game with a high score and jumping and an enemy.
Well, at the moment, I've won 25 points, so I'm pretty happy.
You're pretty good at this, Sarah. You're very good at this. Hey, we're on to the final step now. Shall we have a go?
Yeah.
All right. Our final step is to end the game if a barrel touches the sprite player. Drag an on sprite overlaps into the editor. Set the sprite kind of... Oh my gosh, I don't know what that is. Other sprite to projectile. End the game with the game over block inside. What on earth? Looking at the hint. Looking at the hint. Oh, it's a new block of code. That's all we're going to do.
Oh, it's a new block. It's new. Yeah, okay.
New block. So it looks like we're going to look for an on sprite overlaps block of code. Now, I reckon we're probably going to find that in sprites. What do you reckon?
Because it's blue.
It's blue.
Yeah.
On sprite. There we go. It's the really big long one at the end. I'm going to click that. I'm going to drag it into a nicer spot. There we go. Oh, maybe I'll put that. Now, let's see. Set the sprite kind for other sprite. To projectile. So, looking for maybe something that says other sprite. So we've got on sprite of kind player. Overlaps with other sprite of kind player. Set the sprite kind to others, for other sprite to projectile. Now I have a bit of an idea of what one to change, but if you don't know, look at the hint. Look at the hint. Hey Sarah, bit of a tricky question. Do you have an idea of where I might need to make something projectile?
Well, I kind of thought that I'd click on other sprite, but there's no drop down, so that's not how because it says to sort of to set the sprite kind. So I thought that maybe it would be a drop down and I'd change it. But when I read the sentence, it says like other sprite of kind, and then there's a drop down. So maybe it's like a sentence, and maybe that drop down is the one that I want to change.
I think so. I wonder what happens if we click player. Projectile's an option. We like that.
We like it.
I'm going to click it. Okay. Projectile. Let's just check that looks like the same as the hint.
Yeah.
It's the same. Now we need to end the game with a game over block inside. Game over block. Okay. I have an idea of where we might find a game over. I think it's in game. That same color.
I like that it's purple.
I know. Oh, here we go. Oh, this is cool. Game over. I'm going to drop that in. Let's just check the hint. Lose. Okay, let's see what happens.
It melts away.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
Oh my goodness.
And now, I'm bad at this game. I can cheat because we put in this infinite jump.
Oh yeah, because we've got our mega jump because we invented that part of our game.
And just like that, look, we have just done a Rethink Pink of our own video game. Now the next step is to hit next, and it says, congrats. Oh my gosh, okay. I don't want it to keep playing.
You don't want to keep losing.
I don't want to keep losing because it's a really annoying sound. So just like that, we have made our first video game. Yay! And look, it works. I can fly. It's the best thing ever. Now if I hit finish, we get to give it a name. What should we call it?
I think Rethink Pink.
Oh my gosh, it's so loud. Rethink Pink.
Yay!
And I'm going to hit publish project.
All right. And then what does that mean?
Once we do that, we get a special link. Now, once you have this special link, you can send anyone this link and they will be able to play your game. It's really cool.
Also, a QR code? Wow.
It's pretty good. And you can also send it to, like, I don't know, no one here probably has, social media.
So I would probably want to keep this link, right? So I want to copy it and then save it somewhere on my computer or in my notes or like wherever I save stuff.
Yeah.
What happened? Yeah, great.
And then, for example, if you send someone this link and they open it, I'm going to open that link now in my browser, and we can see what it might look like. Oh my gosh, you can see my cute little Totoro background there. Anyone else a Totoro fan in the chat? Let me know. When we load up that link that we've sent to someone, my internet's being a bit slow. My friend is playing. I live with my friend. They're playing video games, so it's a little bit slow. But when you send someone this link, you can play the game, and it opens up like a little video game console. They can play the game. They can also see the code that you wrote. So if you feel like showing off, You'll be able to show them all the code that you wrote for it. Oh my gosh, my internet wanted to work. Honestly, but here we go. They'll be able to see the code that you wrote to make it work, so you can show off how smart you are. They can also edit your code if they want to have a play. But the most awesome thing is they can play your game. How cool is that? We just made our first video game, and we can send it to everyone, and everyone can be like, wow, you're really talented.
That's so cool.
How cool. Everyone, let us know how you went with your game. Are you happy with how it's going? Do you feel like maybe you're the smartest person in the world? I think you probably are, to be honest. Yeah, let us know how you went with all that. Did you like programming? Or did you maybe like the art or design? Or did you maybe like directing your team or your partner about what to do? All those roles, they fit you into either hacker, hustler, or hipster. So, depending on what you liked, maybe there's a bit of a hint about what you might fit into. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, Sarah, what was your favourite part about making that game?
Well, as the hustler, my favourite part is at the end where we got a link to share it, because when we make technology, it's really important that people use it, So I really like that I can take it away and show it to people and say, look, I made something, I made something for you, and that I can make people happy with the technology that I made. So that's the role of the hustler, and I think that's probably my favourite bit. What about you?
See, I actually think I fit into a bit of a hacker and a hipster kind of role. Like, I think I'm a bit of both. So I loved when we figured out how to make ourselves get a point every time. I found that so cool. And I also loved when we got to pick what the game looks like. That was so fun. Like, that whole, getting to draw the sprites, that was so cool. So let us know in the chat, what was your favourite bit about what you did? And also let us know in the chat, well, actually, feel free to send us an email if you keep working on your game and you want to share it with us. Or if you have any questions, because I don't know. I can say everyone else on the Girl Geek team, we love seeing any work that you make, and we love helping you out. If you have any questions or you're really proud of something, you want to share it, you're always welcome to send us an email to hello@girlgeekacademy.com of any work in progress you're doing, or if you need any hints, or if you have a really cool game idea and you need to tell someone about it. We're always here to have a listen and get excited about it with you. So do feel free to send us any updates you might have. But that was so much fun. I just had the best time.
I loved it, and I loved hanging out with you too. I like, how good is technology when you get to do it with friends, and really enjoyed all of the chat. Like, it's just been amazing, and I'm really looking forward to some of the other workshops that we're doing. And what a great way to spend our school holidays. It's being able to connect with people and being able to learn something together that's just fun, and just we can make mistakes, and it's just our way of learning. And I really like when we made our game and we decided that we wanted to make it do a double jump, because we can make our own fun with technology, and I really enjoyed that.
I fully agree with that, Sarah. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining in and having the most fun time with us ever. This is not the last Rethink Pink workshop that's happening these school holidays. We'll post a link in the chat now to the full schedule for all the other ones coming up. So if you want to come along to some of the other ones, we'd love to see you there. But for now, that was such a good time. But thanks, everyone, so much for hanging out, and we'll see you next week. Oh my gosh.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a nice day. See you later.
Bye.